Hey, and welcome. Hey, and welcome, you guys. I hope that my mic sounds nice. Check one. I'm gonna try to sit a little bit further back because last time when I did the recording, I feel like I was a little bit too loud back and forth into the microphone. But baby, we're not gonna worry about it. We got a lot to get into. But before I get started with this recap, y'all, please like the video, comment down in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of this part of the reunion and the season as a whole. You can let me know what you think about my commentary, but be nice, y'all. Be nice, okay? Share this video with share your videos because sharing is caring. Subscribe, please, and keep those notifications turned on. Cash App and Venmo is there for those who would like to drop a little something in the donation plate because your girl is not monetized. I appreciate you ever so kindly. Like I said, we're going to get right into this thing. This is Married to Medicine, season 11, episode 17, I believe, part 2 of the reunion. And baby. Before I get started now, Sweet Tea has a whole YouTube channel. Props to her. Fine. Cool. No problem with that. Even though y'all talk hella ish about Heavenly's YouTube channel and she just told you to go get your own. So I'm glad that you did just that. But not me seeing a clip and you saying that y'all not going to sit up on YouTube, your husband loves you and blah, blah, blah with her and Simone whilst sitting up on the YouTube. I mean, the contradiction, baby, is at an all-time high. And also, we talked about the mortgage thing in the last recap. And T, you thinking it's a flex to say that you're almost done paying for Quad's house? Baby, you mean your husband's house? Your age gap husband's house? Baby, please be so for real. Okay, I'm trying not to go off on a tangent because I know this recap is about to be long, but I will say my girl Candy Love, we was having a conversation. She said, I bet you that girl is on disability and she don't got to pay taxes. And lo and behold, baby, yes. Ma'am said she is 100% disability and she don't have to pay no taxes. I said, baby, this ain't nothing to be proud of. This ain't what y'all want, okay? I edited my slides a little bit, but we're going to leave it right here because we're picking up where we left off talking about Dr. Damon Daddy, okay? And whether he was giving out the phone number and having, babies outside his marriage and all the things, okay? And I believe it was Contessa that said, he's human and you seem to be miserable. You seem miserable to be with, I think is what she said. And so I hope he has some joy. And I was like, damn, Contessa. And I don't really mean to be on Heavenly side all the time, but baby, you coming across as a little miserable yourself. I'm just glad you stopped talking about your marriage like she told you to. But, it's written all over your face. You don't have to say, okay. So Heavenly say, baby, your titties is crooked, okay? She said she got a botched surgery. And the ladies are kind of gagged. And I know people had a problem with this because Contessa's kind of tearing up or, fake tearing up, talking about she had prophylactic mastectomy reconstruction. And I'm just tired. And if y'all are going to disagree with me, just please be polite and you disagree with me, okay? We all have our own opinions. And if you don't like my opinions, like I said, be polite. And also, you can get on your own camera, laptop, tablet, whatever you want, make your own video, baby. It is free 99, okay? I'm tired of Contessa crying and playing the victim after everything that she says. You worried about her talking about your dead mama and saying that your husband is a shushu when you just sat there and said that they sleep in separate rooms, that he's having an affair, that there's illegitimate mixed babies with his last name, that your kids don't like you and you got to pay for you. Like all the things that you said, like Toya said on the last recap, it's giving tit for tat and y'all are even. So don't cry for me, Argentina, please. Okay. Jackie starts crying up with her fake tears, talking about how they used to be friends. I get all of that. I get all of that. And the onus is really on Contessa to move forward because that was my issue this season, is harping on this thing. Baby, we have 5 minutes already and I would like to move on. So they start talking about Heavenly's YouTube channel being a problem or her social media. Because I was like, Andy was saying something about it's consistently been a problem for 10 years. And I'm like, she had no YouTube channel for 10 years, but I guess he was speaking to her social media. So she's asking Andy if you want me to stop my social media. And he's like, I think the ladies have a problem with it. And if you was talking cash-ish about me, I'd want you to stop. And to get her to understand it's a pattern. She keeps repeating the same pattern. But clearly y'all don't have a problem with it because y'all are letting her do it to promote the show. And it brings drama and attention to the show. That's neither here or there. Okay. Contessa's like, she thought their relationship was authentic. And in the end, these two kind of wrap it up because Contessa ain't wrapped too tight upstairs, talking about you look beautiful. Heavenly's like, you do too, girl. And my titties look beautiful. Exhausted, y'all. Okay. Baby, next we move on to Letitia and, well, primarily Letitia. It's going to be Letitia and G. So we get her package and the whole spiel about the age gap dating. She really acts like she invented it. I know she says she wants to normalize it, but baby, what is there to normalize? It's been around for I don't know how long, but I'll let you rock. So Andy wants an update. She tells us that she had 2 failed attempts at IUI and that she has an IVF consultation. And he's asking if it's with Dr. Jackie. We all know the answer to that. After she told her, F you, we knew Jackie wasn't rocking with her. Although after what Jackie said, I don't know if I want Jackie to be my doctor. No disrespect. Okay. And I can see, I don't know why Quad has her as her doctor. I know she's good with fertility and things of that nature, and she's supposed to be. I have to get somebody else to do it, okay? Get somebody else to do it. I see why she left Simone because the tension between Simone and Quad is crazy, but I can understand why Letitia would not, want to be bothered with Jackie in that way. That's her body, that's her temple. It's, personal, private. You want a good relationship. So they addressed this whole thing of Dr. G saying basically after 2 years, he want to call it quits. And she's trying to tell us that he says that he just wants to try other routes after 2 years. That's not what we got as the viewer, but you live with him, so we're going to go with that. And Dr. G is 56, and Simone is kind of saying like, no one wants to be, old and have a baby. She's like, right, Andy? I said, yikes, it was given Dr. Jackie. Buffy, you're infertile. Andy, right? You old and got kids. I said, oh my goodness gracious. Toya had to be like, baby, wait, hold up a minute. Are you insulting the man that somewhat cuts the checks? So if you were asked 3 ways to get an older, richer man, I don't know if part of this conversation was cut off. We're asking T this, and she says, love and support, and man is supposed to protect and provide all the things. So Quad agrees, and she says, a man should provide and make sure a woman is comfortable and not dismiss her or shun her. Andy's like, you talking about Dr. G? Absolutely. You so worried about Greg? Andy's like, I don't think she is. Thank you, Andy. Thank you. She's really not. She's trying to help you, but you cannot receive it, right? So, baby, you don't unlock Quad mode, okay? And we're going 0 to 100 real quick. And Quad been in this game, okay, for many years, and she could read, baby, okay? Quad can read if she can't do nothing else. He tells her, you have my scraps. T flips her the birds. The ladies are looking like, because when you don't have the words to, keep up. She's like, that I let you have. You crawled into the DMs and said you could give him a baby, and you have not made good on that yet. Baby Quad ate her up so good. And y'all could be mad at me for saying that. The ladies were slightly gagged, but I'm like, it's giving, the Kenya Moore don't come for me unless I send for you. And I kept saying, Quad, you keep picking on, not Quad, T, you keep picking on people's kids and all kinds of other weird-ish And then when somebody says something about your fertility, you won't be mad. So now here we are. And all she has to say is, girl, please, you didn't get enough out of the divorce, ma'am. Hang it up, flat screen. Womp, womp, womp. So we're asking her how she feel going into vacation with Quad, and she, T says she was open-minded, but she has some doubts because Quad was speaking on her marriage. And Quad says, listen, I got a permanent residence in a mansion in your mind. Okay. Heavenly chimes in and reminds us that she called Quad a drunk baby. Yikes. T says she has a history, 2 DUIs. She's an alcoholic. And Heavenly's like, don't say that, Heavenly. Really, girl? Okay. So Andy questions her, and Letitia kind of walks it back. And I said, see, this is when you get mad, when you get your ass handed to you yet again. So Letitia says Quad was disrespectful on the couples trip, and he had a right to speak up. Baby, just because he talked to you that way, didn't your mama teach you nothing? You don't allow a man to talk to you like that. He had a right. Like, you can say what you want to say, but you're not going to come at me sideways. You're not going to raise your voice at me. You're not going to talk to me crazy, okay? So if you want to come at me correctly, then you can, say what you got to say. But if you're not, keep it over there. So Toya's kind of saying, a man shouldn't say, you got a big effing mouth, which is what he said. And Letitia's like, he didn't call her a B or anything, just justifying the whole thing. And Simone is like, Quad started gloating and then turned it around to them. I said, that's fair, because I'm not about to argue about it with y'all and nobody else. Okay, fair, fine, moving along. So Quad says she is happy, blessed, and grateful to have King, and she just wants to shout it from the rooftops, baby. I know that's right. Especially once you come off of being in a bad relationship and you get a really, really good one, baby, it makes you very much so appreciative. Okay. So if that is the case, I am not mad. And if you get a little jab in the process, well, then so be it. She says she's in support of the Luntfords, and Tisha's like, she was antagonizing him. So we start talking about Dr. Heavenly tweeted that Dr. G isn't respected in the medical community, and she points out that's after T tweeted the same about her first, calling her dentist the menace, if y'all do not remember. So Heavenly says she feels bad. She has no beef for her. She apologizes. Girl, please, let's take it and move on. So a viewer is asking, how can Dr. Jackie not confront Heavenly about her attack on T and her fertility issues? This is what I'm saying. You want to have a problem with people talking about your fertility, it's another throw your rock and hide your hand. You start the ish and you can't finish it. So you say what you say, but you can't control how the other person responds. Argue with your mama. So Jackie's like, she don't want to be in it, okay? She don't want none of that on her. Plus, baby, we know how Jackie gives it up, okay? Jackie don't want no smoke after the ish that she just went through and everything that came out of her mouth. So she's like, finish through with it. Heavenly reminds us, she said, my mama was in hell. And I said, my mother had a better chance of, y'all know the rest. So Andy is like, do you think you were hard on T? So Heavenly says, listen, I respect you for coming because everybody did not show up. So T says, okay, girl, I accept it, and maybe I'll even unblock you, baby. We're doing a little bit too much with that, but if you like it, baby, I love it. Okay. So before we get back to the ladies, we see that the men are starting to arrive, and baby, Dr. G and his little self, I have the clip up on I think it's on my Twitter and my Facebook of his little self getting out of the car, his feet just dangling, getting down, bow-legged like a little baddie ass little kid, okay? And G goes in there to find out that he's an army of one, okay? He has a solo suite, okay, baby? King said he didn't have no problem with G, but he asked for extra security. Now, I said in my weekly huddle that I felt like, and somebody else reiterated this, I'm pretty sure, what Dr. G thought was going to happen is that they were going to isolate King, and King was going to be the one to be in the room by himself. But oh, contraire, Moonfrere, you are on an island by yourself. So Eugene says, he doesn't think that King has the issue, and G really don't have an issue with him either, but it's unresolved things between him and his ex. So we get the greatest hits of Gregory, okay? Including, I've been taking care of you since the day I met you, baby. A man say that to you, it is as good as goodbye, okay? because you're not about to talk to me like that at all. Absolutely not. So King is saying, they fell into familiarity, but you can't tell someone to shut the F up. And the fellas essentially agree. You can't be mad. This is a picture of the fellas. The fellas were looking good. King, I don't know about these sneakers, but I guess, child, because, comfort is king as we are getting older. So Dr. Mimi comes on out and she joins the ladies and we get her package. Andy asks her if there's a side of Mimi that we don't see. And Quad said, Mimi is a good time. Baby, not Quad. Wasn't you supposed to be Letitia's friend? Now, I know Letitia said that they weren't really friends. You have to usher people onto the show. So that's what we were doing. And then, she said Mimi was scheming to make her look crazy. So Heavenly says that she loves Mimi and that they've been working behind the scenes. And baby, I love to hear it. Okay. We can all use a little therapy, a little consult and whatnot. So Mimi says, in regards to Tisha's first year, that marriage is hard and to do it on TV and with this group and everybody's opinions, like it's a lot. I agree with her wholeheartedly there. Letitia says, she wants the competition to stop. And Quad's like, it's natural, it's to be expected. And also you can't compete where you can't compare. Baby, did you catch it? Shade. All right. So Toya says that she likes that Mimi got to know all of them individually without preconceived notions. And she communicated well, even when Toya didn't necessarily agree with her. Then we get a nice package of the doctor's accomplishments or achievements. We see the ladies at work, we're at the Met Gala, and we're at the White House. So, we have to talk about this visit to the White House and how women need to stick together because our rights are being attacked. Simone says patients are coming in and they're concerned about those rights, baby. It is bad times. I am not about to get on my soapbox in this video, but who would have thought we would see the reversal of Roe v. Wade, baby? I am glad I am in a blue state. It's kind of purple, but it's blue, okay? In any event, then we start to talk about frivolous things like the mother-in-law stitch, make it a little extra tight, make the mother-in-law happy because the son is happy. Botox, who gets more, Contessa or Scott? Scott needs more. Andy said he done got a little Botox a month ago. Toya said, oh, baby, no, you got to come to the ATL. And Simone says, you don't want your face to be frozen. Moving along from that, Andy asked Mimi to diagnose the ladies with one word. She says, I can give you some observations. Let's give you these observations, baby, because Mimi was spot on. Although I will say, in addition to getting to know them, she did have this show as a reference point if she chose to use it. She says, Jackie, intentional corrective conversation. Quad, grief, grieve it out. Heavenly, open up your inner child, nurture her, baby. I got to go hug my inner child now. Simone, less rigid, more flexibility. Toya, you got it. You don't need any more validation. I said, okay. T, let us know how to support you. We don't know. Contessa, don't be distracted. You have a lot of energy. Put it where it's supposed to be. Baby, okay. All right. Again, like I said, spot on. I'm going to put this picture up here of all the fellas because it's time for them to come out. So the husbands come out. The ladies are saying backstage that King hasn't seen G since the sandbar. Quad wouldn't let him go to whatever meetup they were supposed to be going to, and Eugene didn't go neither. The dude is not really feeling Dr. G. Cecil is really the only one that's kind of fake friends with him. And I mean, go Cecil, child, I guess, but let's get into it. So Andy is saying hello to all the fellas. Dr. Damon says, him and Heavenly are spending a lot of time together, but he misses the little buddies, baby. He is such a proud papa, and we love to see it. Dr. Eugene said his foot is still healing, baby. And yes, because the older you get, the longer things take to heal, okay? I be trying to wrap myself up in a bubble, okay? Because your girl don't need no more problems and my body falling apart already. I digress. We not hear about me. We hear about Married to Medicine. So Andy wants G and King to shake hands immediately now. Because I was like, who going to get up first? And somebody going to be standing over each other. It's just not going to go well. So in short, they say a little something about it, but it's a no for them too, dog. So Eugene says, we're talking about Eugene in the med spa. That's going well. Toya still wants to do the Botox, but he says, he needs a good looking woman for that. So King is like, would Toya be okay with that? Toya's like, that's right, King. And he said, it depends on how much it's bringing in. I said, okay, your wife. Okay, your wife. The banter is bantering and the knowing be knowing, right? So then we get some flashbacks of the ups and downs of the fellas this season, including G's horrible song. Baby, why y'all about to let him perform that on part 3? Why? Why? Why 4? Absolutely not. A viewer asked about the guys starting a band. I said goodbye. Absolutely not. I don't care who's playing the banjo and the guitar. No. Okay. No. So now we are focusing on Greg and Damon as they are the drama of the group. We get into this whole comment of not being respected in the medical community. And Andy asked Damon what if Sweet Tea posted the same thing about him. Damon said he don't give a damn. Shout out to Miss Misha. Okay. Nothing she can say would crush him. And he says he's upset. And I say, these aren't the words he used. I'm saying he is upset about the allegations. Got that man up there cussing. He wanted G to speak to his character, okay? You sat there like a coward and didn't say anything, and I'm telling you to your face. I appreciate him telling him to his face, and I get where I'm going to give Dr. G one. I get him not wanting to speak for his character, but I think, and Heavenly might have said it on her show too, all he was simply looking for. No, you don't know what a person is doing when you're not around. But to say, like if we were talking about me, no, I don't know Kira to be that person. She don't really lie and do stuff like that. So I wouldn't think that she would do it, but you never know. A little something like that. We can clean it up, make it all real nice. Again, take it how you want to take it. That's how I saw it. That's between the two of them. Dr. Damon ain't never going, even though they made up, ain't going to never get over it, in my opinion, because he just, he don't fool with him. And I don't think he views G to be a person with so much integrity anyway. So I don't really know why you wanted that from him. So Cecil says, Gregory can say the same thing about Damon not stepping up for him. That's also a fair assessment, I guess. Again, I'm not willing to argue about y'all. Argue with y'all about it. So Damon says, he's a great doctor. And Eugene is talking about how, the implications could impact his business in regards to the PDF file. That was absolutely too far. Too far. Heavenly said, maybe don't blame Kendrick. Don't blame Kendrick. So Damon is comparing that to cheating. Love you, Dr. Damon Daddy. Absolutely not. The integrity part, yes. But in terms of your business, you cheating is not going to compromise your business in the way that man in the PDF file would. So Damon says, listen, it's wrong. But come to me with your issues. You talk to everybody else except for me. And I can see where that would be a problem because come to me. Okay. Come to me. I don't want to show my age and start singing, but come to me. Okay. You got mad and said you said I'm not going to see your patients anymore. And G says, no, your patients were just too high maintenance. So Damon calls him out and tells him he's lying. If you're doing it out of spite, just say so. And baby, that was exactly how I felt. When he said it, I was like, yes, please stand on business. Like if you're being petty, because Dr. G is the king of petty. If you're being petty, just say that. Like you don't have to explain it to nobody. Because to be perfectly honest, if somebody else is talking about PDF files, that would be enough reason to say, you know what? I understand we have our own relationship, but I feel some type of way. And I just, I ain't got it in me to do. Okay. It's fine. So the ladies backstage are calling him a B. And Toya, because, Letitia's disputing, and then Toya is telling her, like, you got to receive it. And she's like, be quiet. And she's like, no, because obviously in your household, G is the only one speaking. I said, baby, say that. So Andy says, well, one could infer, right, that because of the issue, the timing is coincidental of it all. And G says, no, it took more resources. And Andy says, like, why not tell him that you didn't have the bandwidth? Exactly. We're being practical in an instance where practicality is not, the thing. So G says he did, and Damon calls BS. He says he doesn't lie. Integrity is important. And Dr. G starts laughing like a weirdo, baby. I was so aggravated. Like, what is wrong with this man. Baby, before we get back to the thing, I must say I did check out. This is definitely gonna be up after midnight. I did check out Heavenly's YouTube, and baby, she had the receipts. I'm gonna put it up briefly on the screen, and then I'll read it for you all, just in case if for some reason I need to cut it out of this video. Okay, pause for the cause. So that, in fact, was the text in question. I don't want no problem, so I'll put it up there real quickly. Y'all can pause to read. That way, if I need to somehow edit it out of this video at some point, I can, but I will read it to you. Dr. G says, I just saw your wife's post. It was very bizarre and malicious at the same time. I am not going to be seeing any more of your patients, as in I don't have any patients, not as in patients that come to your office. I don't know if it was autocorrect or, he just was aggravated and typing fast. Going forward, Dr. Damon says, I don't know about any posts. That's your decision, baby. Okay. Getting back to the rest of this reunion, okay? I just want to put that out there because the lies will catch you. And that's why, baby, you got to be careful when you send in the text messages, okay? You got to be careful who you send in the text messages. And usually the fellas stay out of the foolishness. And I'm sure he did not think that Damon was going to let Heavenly have the text message and expose it. But Damon is over Dr. G. He's over him. And that's why I said, even though they're about to apologize in a minute, he just really done with the whole situation. So Steve says it hurts because they were real friends and they just need to have a conversation. Damon says if he wants to talk, he's down for it because he doesn't want it to fester. G never meant to hurt him. He says he's sorry if he let him down, and Damon accepts his apology, I guess. So we get on to the couples trip. Eugene, because Andy's asking him a question about it, says, it was an uphill battle. And kudos to you, speaking to Dr. G, I believe, because he wouldn't be there, baby. Me neither. Okay, let's keep it real. Me neither. A viewer speaks to the vibe check and says, Quad maybe just wanted to uplift her man. So we've talked to Curtis, okay? And don't y'all ever do this again, okay? We ain't seen Curtis all last season. And Curtis and Jackie said, y'all not going to be talking about us. I'm going to come from the DR up under my girlfriend and join my wife back on this show. And I'm going to be the big, tall-ass tree voice of reason. I said, baby, not Curtis. Curtis been hitting all the marks all season, child. Anyway, I digress. He said Quad had to listen to Letitia and Gregory talk about their relationship while Quad was there with no man. So backstage, Simone and T said Quad wasn't even around. Maybe she saw it on TV, but Quad wasn't even there. Baby, I'm gonna let y'all have that. She was there at least one time because I remember her. Can I hug you around your neck at that Met Gala? She really tried her best. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. Quad really, really tried her best, and y'all wanted Quad to crash out, as the young folks say, the same way that G crashed out this season. Okay. So Quad says the fact that you ushered them back into the group is a problem. What? Oh, so Simone says you weren't around, so we can usher in the people we effing with. Shut the F up. Quad says, baby, why was that so deep? You shut the F up. I said, baby, it's getting ugly. You gave us your ass to kiss and we hung out with Greg. We've been seeing that in the preview, okay? And Simone gonna run this. You gave our ass to kiss into the ground. Baby, when are you gonna let Sister Circle go? And I refuse to believe that that's what the problem is at this point. I don't know what it is. We're gonna talk about it in a minute because we're gonna wrap this whole thing up in a nice little bow. You got mad, Quad says. You got mad, Quad says. For what, you dirty bitch? Oh, not a dirty bee, baby. Simone hops up. They're in each other's face. Security got to get in the middle of them. You got exactly what karma you had coming to you. Baby, what? Even Quad was like, what karma, Simone? You turned your back on people. We did the same to you. I never turned my back on you. Who was knocking on your daddy's door? It was me. Don't talk to me about my daddy. You weren't the you. Don't talk to me about my daddy. You weren't. Let's try it a third time. Don't talk to me about my daddy. You went there with the cameras. Baby Simone's voice was cracking. And no, not about to edit that out. I'm tired. Y'all just about to get all three takes. It's there for your amusement. Enjoy. Maybe that's where the episode ends. Okay. With Simone's voice cracking, talking about Quad only does things for the cameras. Baby, I'm not even going to talk about I'm not even going to talk about next week's episode in the preview. We will talk about next week because the end of this episode had me so in a place. Okay, Simone is unhinged, and I don't understand what the beef with Quad is every single season. Okay, it cannot be the sister circles. I don't know if you remind her of somebody or what it is, or if, like the people say, that you are really truly jealous because she got her divorce and is thriving and you wanted to get yours and you never did. And so maybe you're the one that's miserable. Baby, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. You guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think. Now she has this fake relationship with Letitia. So I'm like, okay, so if T comes back, it's going to be her and Contessa filming with her. I'm just like, And, Simone is high-key fake. Okay, let's keep it a buck. So she'll discard Sweet Tea the same way she does everybody else when she gets good and ready. So, baby, you hold on to that, okay? And hold on tight. Like I said, I'm going to get out of here. I'm proud of myself for doing this in about 30 minutes. Get down in the comments and let me know what you thought about this part of the reunion. They're giving it to us, y'all. Looks like we're going to get more from the fellas at the top of the next part. Like I said, we won't talk about the previews and everything. I'll just wait. Just remember to like the video for your girl, leave a comment, do all of the things, y'all. I don't want to keep saying it. You know what it is. I'm gonna get on out of here. I appreciate having you, and I hope that you'll come back next week as we wrap up part 3. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.